Hello, I'm the Animation Critic. The name says it all. Anyone who knows me knows that I love animated villains. Animation has given us some of the most creative and love-to-be-hated baddies of all time. Whether or not he or she was created by Disney or some other studio, if they make the villain enjoyable to watch, they usually do a good job making the rest of the film likable. Because of this love, every time I watch an animated musical, I always look forward to the villain song, because that is a song that almost always is the best. But the thing about villain songs is that they rely on the most effort to be good. You must use great care when creating an animated villain song, because if you don't, you end up with this.
Twiddly-dee, twiddly-dee, they're running out, they're running out, they're running out of batteries. No batteries.
Yeah. Luckily, we're here to honor the songs that don't suck by listing the top 12 greatest animated villain songs. Why top 12? Because I like to go one step beyond the nostalgia critic. So, I really don't have that much else to say, so here are the top 12 greatest animated villain songs.
What a place for breaking plan! Join the fun with no regrets. Only greedy, dirty deeds are allowed.
Get those puppies!
Take over the deed.
Break the law!
Take a hike, shake it.
12. Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. The two reasons I put this song at the bottom of the list are the same two reasons why I considered not putting it on the list at all. Not only is the song about the villain rather than by the villain, but the song itself barely lasts a minute long. So why is it on the list? Well, can you think of any earlier villain songs that left just as much of an impact as this song? I didn't think so. Anyway, in the movie, the Dalmatians owner Roger is trying to come up with lyrics for his newest song when his wife's old schoolmate, the rich and wicked Cruella de Vil, arrives at their residence. And just like that, Roger gets an idea, and as a result, the first song on our list.
Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil, if she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will.
What I like about the song is that it reminds me a lot of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch from the animated Grinch holiday special. Not only are they perfect at describing the devilish personalities of the characters, but the lyrics used put visions of disgustingness in your head, and you enjoy every second of it. Don't believe me? Just listen to some of these lyrics.
She's like a spider waiting for the kill. Vampire bat, this inhuman beast. She ought to be locked up and never released.
How can you not think that whoever wrote this song is a genius? If you think the lyrics are a little too harsh, then need I remind you that this is the person that kidnapped almost 100 Dalmatian puppies and attempted to turn them all into fur coats. It's because of people like her that I joined the World Wildlife Fund. Overall, this song is a perfect reason why Cruella de Vil is truly a cruel devil.
The world was such a wholesome place until Cruella, Cruella de Vil.
Number 11. Playing with the Big Boys Now from the Prince of Egypt. Like the last song, this one isn't sung by the actual villain himself, but rather his minions. And it surprisingly turns out well. Why such a shock? Because the two Egyptian high priests who sing the song, Hotep and Hoi, are portrayed by Steve Martin and Martin Short. Why is this such a big deal? Well, because the two are often associated with comedy, you would never think that they could pull off a somewhat dramatic performance, especially in an animated film. Yet here they pull it off with perfection, and as a result, give me one of my favorite songs and an exception in my usual hatred of religious films. Another thing I like about the song are the visuals. In contrast to the real magic used by Moses, Hotep and Hoi showcase an average shade show, complete with smoke and mirrors, but the execution is so well pulled off that you couldn't tell the difference. That's not to say the music and lyrics aren't likable. Stephen Schwartz managed to make both of these highly engaging, By changing the speed of the music and creating dark and serious lyrics, Schwartz made what could have been a cheesy clown show and made it something worth watching. If you want to hear the real villain, Pharaoh Ramses, sing himself, the closest you'll come to is his part of the Plague Song, which I can't include on this list because the main hero, Moses, sings a majority of the song. Still, I guess I could make it a runner-up, because when you finally do hear Ramses sings, well, just listen.
You who I called brother, how could you have come to hate me so? Is this what you wanted? Then let my heart be hardened, and never mind how high the cost may grow. This will still be so. I will never let your people go.
You see, who would have guessed that Lord Voldemort himself was such a badass singer? But even if plagues can't qualify for the licks, playing with the big voice certainly fills the gap just as well. It just goes to show that when it comes to the best of villain songs, it certainly has no trouble playing with the big boys.
When you'll dig, or you're playing with the big boys. 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 Playing with the big boys now.
They love it.
Number 10. Blame Canada, from South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Now before we move on, let me answer your very first question. Yes, this is a villain song. I'm sure a lot of you are probably expecting something like Satan's Up There or Saddam Hussein's I Can Change. Yeah, I have to admit, those are pretty good songs. But the thing is, even though Satan and Saddam Hussein are villains, they really don't do much to progress the storyline. I mean, granted, there's that huge prophecy and all, but they don't do anything about it. And besides, Satan, I mean, even though he's the devil, all he really wants is to leave hell and live in a world better place. Isn't that what anybody wants? Sheila, aka Kyle's mom, on the other hand, is pretty much the whole thing driving the plot. Offended by the content in the Terrence and Phillip movie the town's children are seeing, Sheila organizes all the parents of South Park and decides to attack the source of their problems.
Should we blame the government or blame society?
Or should we blame the images on TV?
No! Blame Canada! Blame Canada!
The song is probably the funniest on the list, only fitting considering that it is one of the only villain songs to be nominated for an Oscar. While the music is catchy and the lyrics are funny as hell, it's the true motives behind the whole song that not only bring out lots of laughs, but set up a major theme in the movie, as proven by the song's final lyrics.
We must prevent the cause of us before somebody thinks of blaming us!
If you didn't catch that, that's pretty much the parents saying that they're gonna attack Canada, not because it's protecting their children, but so that they don't get blamed for not controlling what their kids watch. I smell hypocrisy. Another thing to note that this was one of the last performances of Mary Kay Bergman before committing suicide, and it's certainly a noteworthy one. Why? Because in the song, she voices not only Sheila, but also Stam's mom Sharon, Cartman's mom Leanne, and pretty much every female voice you hear in the song. The constant change in voices is no easy task, but Mary Kay managed to do it not only in the song, but pretty much throughout the entire movie. And it's a shame to see such a great talent leave us so soon. If you don't like this song, then you're no better than the lousy hypocrites who sing it. The characters, not the voice actors.
Now when I see him, he tells me to fuck myself! Well, blame Canada! Blame Canada! It seems that everything's gone wrong since Canada came along! Blame Canada! Blame Canada!
They're not even a real country anyway.
Number 9. Big and Loud, from Cats Don't Dance. While Warner Brothers' animated films in the 90s struggled commercially, the critical reception was nowhere near as bad. Even though there were some exceptions, the animated films Warner Brothers made in the last decade of the millennium were praised heavily, with such films as Batman, Mask the Phantasm, The Iron Giant, and my personal favorite of the bunch, Cats Don't Dance. Even though the film borrowed some elements from Disney, it was still a pleasant watch, complete with classic Looney Tunes / MGM style animation, clever references to the films of the 30s and 40s, and a really cool villain, the sweet child actor with a heart of coal, Darla Dimple. who came packed with a musical number.
They like it big, they like it loud, maybe a little bit jazzy sometimes.
The song itself consists of two parts. The first part is less like a villain song and more like a motivational song. See, in the movie, the main character, the cat Danny, seeks the advice of Darla on how to make it big in Hollywood. Her advice? 3 simple words. The song itself is really fun to listen to, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that it was written by Randy Newman. Yeah, that Randy Newman. Before winning Oscars for such songs as We Belong Together and If I Didn't Have You, Randy gave us the music for this charming film. A lot of people think that Randy Newman sucks and just writes the same song over and over again. My response? Those people are communists. All except the nostalgia critic. I may not agree with everything he says, but as everybody knows, he is God. The second part, on the other hand, is the superior part of the song, because that's when everything goes bat crazy.
The lightning will be flashing, the thunder, it will roar. They'll never know what you know. Wait till they see what I have in store.
It's a surprisingly dark song. Everything about the song is dark. The lyrics, the music, and even the visuals get intense at times, especially in the parts where you see Darla's evil face. The fact that a demonic 100-foot-tall butler Max is also part of the song, it doesn't really help. All this makes it a very scary song, especially when you consider that Darla's voice actor was only 12 years old at the time of the movie's release. But as Walt Disney once said, children like to be scared, and this song definitely proves it. Overall, it's definitely one of the best villain songs when it comes to being big and loud.
They're gonna fall big.
Whoa!